Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
In the remnants of what was once a thriving city, Ronan moved through the ruins, the air thick with dust and despair. Towering skyscrapers, now riddled with alien graffiti, loomed like ghostly sentinels, a constant reminder of the Vorkari invasion that had ravaged Earth's surface. The once crowded streets lay desolate, littered with crumbling debris, shattered glass, and echoes of lives abruptly cut short. It had been 2 long years since the extraterrestrial forces descended, and the Earth trembled beneath their weight, eclipsing the vibrancy of humanity. Ronan was a survivor, shaped by loss and fortified by an unyielding will. With every step, he recalled the faces of those he had lost, family, friends, and the vibrant life that had been sucked away in an instant. He had seen too much destruction. The memories of childhood laughter became phantoms in his mind, haunting him like shadows in the twilight. In a hidden pocket of the city lay the remnants of humanity, a small rebel camp that offered a sliver of sanctuary amidst chaos. Days spent scavenging for food and supplies contributed to a fragile semblance of life. Today, however, wrongness tingled in the air. Something unseen was stirring, an energy that hung resolved in the streets. A peculiar sound, faint but insistent, pulled him toward the heart of the desolation, an echo of vulnerability amidst the crumbling infrastructure of the city. Guided by instinct, he followed the noise, weaving through twisted metal and shattered concrete until he stumbled upon an alleyway hidden from view. It was there that he found her. Lyra lay curled up in a ball, emaciated and shivering against the chill of the encroaching night air. Her skin shimmered dimly against the backdrop of graffitied brick walls, hair like delicate tendrils flowing down her neck. The vibrant colors of her being contrasted sharply with the shadows surrounding her, a poignant reminder of the beauty lost amidst destruction. "What are you?" Ronan muttered under his breath, uncertainty swirling in his gut. He crouched low, instinct screaming at him to flee. Yet something about her whisper of sorrow beckoned him closer, her once luminous eyes flickering with loss and helplessness. "Help me." Her voice, hoarse yet somehow melodic, broke through the haze of his thoughts. "I haven't eaten in 20 days. Feed me and I'll stay." The proposition struck him squarely in the chest, a mix of compassion and unease coursing through his veins. In a world where every moment was a fight for survival, the very idea of trust felt foreign, yet the desperation in her eyes tugged at something deep within his heart. "Why should I help you?" he challenged, defensive instincts rising to shield him. His voice reflected a mixture of fear and curiosity. "Because I am more than a monster," she replied, her gaze unwavering, filled with the weight of sorrow. "You see me as a Vorkari, but I am a victim too. I can help you survive these streets, but first, I need your help to live." Ronan studied her for a moment, weighing the potential consequences of his decision. Memories flooded back, snippets of stories told to him about compassion amidst cruelty, tales of humanity's resilience in the face of darkness. He remembered his mother's voice urging him to show kindness where it was least expected. Was this such a moment? "I'm not afraid of you," he said finally, his voice steadier than he felt. "But I don't know if I can trust you." "Trust must be earned," she admitted, her expression softening. "But I promise loyalty and strength in return for your kindness. Just feed me." With a deep breath, he made a choice, not just for her, but for himself also. "Okay," he said, extending his hand. "I can give you food. Come with me." Lyra clasped his hand, hope kindling in her azure eyes as they moved forward together. The weight of their differences dissipated, replaced by the spark of a burgeoning partnership. Little did Ronan know that this small act of compassion would intertwine their fates and catalyze a movement for change that neither of them could foresee. Ronan led Lyra through the darkened cityscape toward an encampment he called home, a hidden alcove within the remnants of an old cafe, its shattered windows opening like empty eyes to the world outside. Cans lay strewn across the floor, relics of a civilization long gone. Some still held remnants of food, their tin glimmering in the dim light. "Welcome," he said, gesturing toward the makeshift shelter that had served as a sanctuary for him and a handful of other survivors. Lyra's eyes darted around, absorbing the atmosphere. The air felt heavy with unspoken stories. Memories lingered like shadows surrounding them. Here, Ronan offered her a can of beans, hands trembling slightly as he presented her with his only sustenance. It's not much, but it's the best I can do. Lyra accepted it with hesitance, her fingers brushing against his as she grasped the tin. She opened it with unfathomable precision, an effortless dexterity that startled him. As she brought it to her lips, Ronan watched her devour the contents, her hunger palpable. Each bite she took felt like a reminder of the fragility of life in this harsh new world. Once she finished, Lyra wiped her mouth on her sleeve, a faint smile breaking through the weariness etched on her face. "You have shown mercy, Ronan," she said with sincerity. "In return, I offer you companionship. Stay with me, and I will warm your bed. And if you help me, together we can find strength." Ronan's heart raced, an allure mixed with unease coursing through him. The proposal, laced with intimacy, held implications that could forever alter their lives. "What does that entail?" he asked, still reeling from the whirlwind of emotions embedded in her words, unsure of how to navigate the complexity of this connection. "Trust will guide our exchange," Lyra replied, her expression serious yet inviting. "To the Vorkari, it is customary to form bonds with those who feed us. You will be my anchor in this brutal world, and I can be yours." Feeling an odd sense of camaraderie seated between them, Ronan hesitated. Was it possible that they could forge something deeper than mere survival, a connection built on reliance rather than fear? "What if your people discover this?" Lyra's gaze darkened but softened at the edges. "They won't understand, and yes, it could pose risks. But the world is fraught with dangers. Together we can carve a path and find our place amid the chaos." Ronan allowed thoughts to wash over him, the possibilities bouncing around in his mind, lingering like the fading embers of a fire. What if we succeed? What if we break barriers? He could see the heat of passion ignite in her eyes, a flame he found himself drawn to. "Then we will forge a new reality." Lyra took a step closer, reducing the space between them until their breaths entwined, vibrant and full of potential. "But first, will you trust me?" With the world surrounding them crumbling into chaos, he took a step forward. "Then let's forge this connection on our terms." When their hands entwined, an electric pulse shot through them, an unspoken promise binding their fates together. Their union would dance on the precipice of danger and vulnerability, and with it a glimmer of newfound hope. As the night settled around them, the weight of the world lifted, however briefly, as they explored the depths of connection. Ideas shone through the darkness as Ronan exchanged tales of bravery with Lyra, peeling back the apprehensions that cloaked their true ambitions. "What's it like on your homeworld?" Ronan asked, his heart racing as he learned more about the essence of her being. Lyra's eyes sparkled as she recalled memories of home. In the heart of Vorkari culture lies an intrinsic connection to the cosmos. We reverberate with the energy of the stars, often weaving rituals that honor our alignment with celestial bodies. It's an energy that binds us together. It's what gives us strength. "Incredible," Ronan breathed, envisioning a world far removed from his own chaos, a place of harmony that contrasted starkly with the ruin he had witnessed. "What about you?" she prompted, eager to hear his story. "What brings you hope in the darkness?" Ronan smiled wistfully, the weight of memories lifting with the gentle wave of nostalgia. "I remember sunsets with my family, the colors swirling like paints embroidered across a canvas. My mother used to say every sunset was a promise of tomorrow. Then we must promise to create tomorrow together," Lyra replied earnestly. As the night deepened, they found themselves awash in dreams and whispered promises, forging a path that transcended the boundaries of flesh and blood. Their glimmers of affection danced against the haunting backdrop of a battle-worn existence, each passing moment cementing a bond that was rapidly turning from one of necessity to one of deep-seated hope. Days turned into weeks, and Ronan and Lyra nurtured their bond amidst the ruins of despair. Together, they weathered the storms of uncertainty, crafting an unbreakable partnership powered by courage, companionship, and an insatiable hunger for connection. In the spirit of perseverance, They spent their days scavenging supplies. They explored desolate buildings that once buzzed with the vibrant energy of life, unearthing hidden remnants from the past. With each venture, they found small treasures together. A child's toy here, a torn photograph there, little pieces that whispered stories of what was lost. The thrill of discovery reminded Ronan of the world he refused to forget. One evening, as they shared dinner beside a flickering flame, Ronan watched Lyra savor the taste of the earthy stew they concocted from scavenged vegetables. Her eyes glinted with a satisfaction he hadn't seen in far too long. "What is it like to be among your people?" he asked, wanting to understand the depth of her experience. "What do they value?" Lyra leaned closer, her tendrils shimmering in the dim light. "Vorkari people celebrate life deeply. We value connection, much like you. Only we intertwine ourselves with the universe. Our rituals are filled with songs that honor the life forces surrounding us, and we share an emotional bond that echoes through our families." "Are you close with your family?" He pressed gently, noticing a glimmer of longing flicker in her eyes. Lyra hesitated, the weight of her past settling on her shoulders. "Before the invasion, I had a brother. He was my closest friend, my companion in every adventure. But," her voice faltered, emotions swelling in her throat, "he was taken from us during the raid. The pain of that loss still lingers within me." Stunned by her revelation, Ronan reached out, squeezing her hand with empathy. "I'm truly sorry. I can't imagine the weight of that grief." "Thank you for understanding," she said softly, her gaze shifting to the fire. "Finding connection, the ability to share our stories, brings healing. It allows us to cope with loss." "Your people sound remarkable," he murmured. "I believe we can build something beautiful together. If we could unite both of our worlds." "Unity is vital, Ronan," she said, her voice steady, "but it anchors itself in trust. If we learn to see each other through the lens of empathy and understanding, we can rise above the hatred that divides us." As the days blended into nights filled with laughter, they began to cultivate bonds with fellow survivors as well. Together, they held gatherings around the fire, exchanging stories and learning more about each other's lives and cultures. Ronan found joy in sharing tales of childhood mischief with the children of the camp, his laughter blending with theirs as they played games evoking memories of happier times. Lyra became a source of enchantment, weaving her own stories into hypnotic chants that entranced those who listened. But while their spirits lifted, the threat of violence always loomed. Whispers of Vorkari resistance echoed through the camp. An internal conflict burned, fueling the flames of suspicion among some survivors who were unwilling to accept an alien into their midst. One evening, after a particularly spirited gathering, Ronan approached a rebel leader, a grizzled warrior named Marcus. "We need to unite, but we can't do that without trust." His brow furrowed. "Trust? You talk of trust as if it were a mere currency. You have an alien in your camp, Ronan. Her kind decimated our homes. Why should we believe she won't do the same to us?" Ronan's heart pounded, frustration boiling to the surface. "Because Lyra is not our enemy. She's a victim of her circumstance, just as we are. Don't you see? Together we can fight the foes who threaten us, and her strength could be our greatest asset." Marcus's eyes glimmered with disdain. "You trust her. How do you know she isn't playing you? What if her people come for us? The only way to forge peace is through patience. Are you willing to banish hope for fear?" Ronan demanded, determination surging through him. With the atmosphere thickening, he felt Lyra approach. "Ronan," she asked, sensing the tension. "Just a conversation about trust," Marcus interjected sharply. "Trust requires risk from us all," she said boldly. "I am not your enemy. I dream of peace, even if it makes me vulnerable. Isn't that what binds us as beings?" Ronan marveled at her fortitude, the raw energy illuminating their bond. "We can change the narrative," he asserted. "If we don't, doubt will swallow us whole." Gradually, Ronan managed to sway the other survivors, convincing them to give Lyra a chance. They organized meetings, aiming to cultivate compassion and bridge the chasms that resulted from fear. As they spoke, Ronan felt a palpable energy shift in the air. Passions ignited as dreams interwove in shimmering threads, a tapestry of unity slowly taking shape. Amid the weight of it all, there were stories, parts of themselves shared during these gatherings. Ronan found solace in the laughter they recounted with flickering light, and the growing bond with Lyra opened chambers in his heart he thought had long sealed shut. But as tension flourished in the undercurrents, he found a sense of urgency in his vision. The looming Vorkari threat was growing, and they needed to unite their resolve before darkness snuffed out their flickering hopes. One evening, as they gathered around the campfire, deciding on their next steps as the embers glowed brightly alongside Lyra's radiant form, they exchanged ideas. "We can no longer stand idly by," Ronan encouraged, his voice steady as he addressed the growing audience. "The attacks have become more brazen. We need a plan to fortify our defenses and show the Vorkari that we will not cower in fear." Lyra stepped beside him. "But we must also reach out beyond these boundaries. We need to forge alliances with other rebel factions. Many may share our desire for peace, but they need to witness our unity first." Her suggestions echoed within the camp, dialogue swirling as they debated. Ideas bounced around, emotions surged, and laughter carved out fractures in the mounting tension still hanging in the air. As night illuminated the horizon, they rallied together, ready to redefine the boundaries that had long governed their existence. Ronan, alongside Lyra, became the heartbeat of hope, and with each passing moment, he reveled in the knowledge that they were not merely surviving, they were forging a future together. Despite the burgeoning glimmers of hope among the rebels, not all were eager to embrace Lyra. Whispers of discontent crackled through the camp, lingering before him like a chilling shadow. Not every survivor would accept an alien among them. Unease pulsed in the air as disbelief morphed into hostility. "An alien stands amongst us," one rebel shouted, his voice tinged with fear as he banged his fist on the table. "How can we expect any sort of victory with a monster in our midst?" Ronan felt the atmosphere shift, his heart racing as he scanned the sea of skeptical faces surrounding him. "Lyra is not our enemy," he implored, raising his voice to cut through the anxiety that pressed in on all sides. "She has fought beside us. Do you not see the strength she brings?" "Strength?" Marcus, the grizzled leader, interjected, voice thick with disdain. "Or deception? This could just be a ruse from her people. A Trojan horse waiting to unleash hell against us." "I wouldn't do that." Lyra's voice was fierce, her azure skin glowing even in the shadows. "I fight for peace and unity. Together, we can stand against the invading forces that threaten to consume us both." As Ronan stood beside her, he felt a rush of solidarity, as if every shared moment, every story stitched between their worlds had culminated into one moment. "Her heart tells a truth that echoes in the silence of our fear," he said, "and we must embrace that truth if we desire to push back against darkness." A long silence hung between them, every heartbeat echoing uncertainty as members of the camp exchanged glances. The tension hung heavy in the air, but Ronan could sense an undercurrent of hope struggling to break free. "Let us test our might together," Ronan suggested, tears building in the corners of his eyes as he recalled the fallen. "If we unify against a common threat, we can showcase the power in our connection. She stands with us. Let us give her a chance to prove her worth." With courage in his chest, he pressed on, urging the rebels to give Lyra a fair opportunity to earn their trust. "Tonight, let's share agriculture. See what it means to bond together." Even as they spoke, Ronan could see the shadows of doubt still lingering in their eyes, like residue of selfishness, dulling the flickering flames of hope. Yet, as they gathered the following evening, it was apparent that some were beginning to embrace Lyra, a glimmer, fragile but real. But as they approached the outskirts, past the horizon of their camp, darkness loomed overhead like a predatory spirit watching their every stride. The day began like any other, sun breaking over the distant structures, illuminating the remnants of a dying world. But a low grumble filled the air, a sound both foreign and familiar. A sense of foreboding clung to Ronan as he dressed, and the unease tightened its grip on him as Lyra joined him side by side. "Today we'll forge a new beginning," he said, determination simmering. "We'll show our commitment, our willingness to embrace this union." Another rebel shouted, pointing farther on the rise of hills. "Look, Vorkari ships." Ronan turned, heart sinking as he glanced at the horizon. One small glimmer guided across their sight, jet black against the brightening sky. Hostile shadows cast over them like a shroud, and fear crackled through his heart. "Prepare yourselves," Ronan called, adrenaline spiking in response. Survivors rushed around him, urgency igniting in every move. "They've come for us," someone shouted in horror as panic surged in the conservatives. "No," Lyra shouted, her voice cutting through the din. "We cannot let fear dictate our actions. We must fight. We will not be defeated again." As darkness loomed, the camp erupted with chaotic defiance. Educating allies would no longer be a plan yesterday, but a call to action. Ronan and Lyra stood at the helm, gathering the survivors as speedily as they could, repeating back the values they had shared, the promises forged through connection. The scents of herbs and roots whirled through the air, remnants of their feasting blending in a natural harmony with their growing urgency. "They're coming. What do we do?" Someone shouted in uncertainty. Unity forged their strengths, each survivor invigorated with courage. "We will show them our resolve. We will not cower," Ronan said, his voice a clarion call slicing through the heaviness. As they rushed forward, Ronan felt Lyra's energy intertwine with his. The ethereal glow at her fingertips shimmered against the encroaching darkness. The Vorkari enforcers descended like shadows, their intent threatening and deeply unsettling. Yet it only fueled the fire building deep in Ronan's spirit. "We must stand together," Ronan shouted as they approached the heart of the camp. "We must show our resilience in the face of imminent danger." Eyebrows knitted, they gathered and rallied. Each breath became a mantra encouraging unity as they fortified their defenses. Lyra's energy radiated outward, reassuring them of their growing bond, igniting the very essence of light within the bitter air. As the allowing clouds cloaked and blurred the sky, the tide swelled towards their camp, a dark wave rolling over the horizon. The front lines forged stronger and braver as Ronan prepared for battle alongside Lyra, who glowed brightly with pride, channeling the stars that aligned above them. The urgency slammed against Ronan like weightless pressure. In moments, shadows engulfed them, shrouding the camp with fear as he drew in powerful breaths, summoning determination to cut through the static. "Remember, fight not just for survival, but for the lives lost. Fight for unity." He raised his voice, imbuing it with the power that surged in his soul. As they clashed with the Vorkari enforcers, adrenaline surged with every heartbeat. Ronan's fists connected with their foes, fueled by passionate resolve. He fought alongside Lyra and the others, drawing strength from the connections they had forged. But then despair crashed around them. He watched as Lyra faced an enforcer, a sudden burst of energy rather than darkness erupting from her core. The fight engulfed her, and in a heartbeat, she staggered back, weakened. "Lyra!" he shouted, panic lancing through him as he rushed to her side, desperately trying to shield her from incoming attacks. "Stay back," she called, determination coursing through her veins even in distress. "I will." Before she could finish her sentence, a bolt of energy crackled through the air. The enforcer launched toward her, and Ronan's heart dropped as chaos erupted. Mustering the energy of their bond, he felt the surge ignite between them, a warmth cascading through him. "We fight together," he yelled, unwavering against the onslaught of fear. But just as Lyra began to rise from the rubble, she was struck. They collided in a brilliant shower of sparks, and the air turned electric. "No!" Ronan felt a surge of emotion overwhelm him as the sheer force of the moment sent him sprawling toward her. "Stay with me. Fight." As darkness began to threaten their bond, he drew energy from the depths of their connection, amplifying it like the celestial glow of the stars. "You cannot break us," he shouted, rallying the remnants of the camp as they took heart through their union. With fury coursing through his veins, Ronan fought alongside Lyra, pushing those shadows back in sheer tenacity. They became a unified force, increasingly aware of the power swirling through one another, love, trust, and faith glowing like a beacon against the bleak world surrounding them. As the chaos shifted, it felt like time itself surged and pushed against the odds, the embodiment of hope igniting in glorious vibrancy. their shining light glowing in defiance of the shadows, smothering their world. One final push melded their energies together and sent the enforcers staggering back, fear flooding through them, as the camp rallied to reclaim their land. Together, they fought for love and the bonds they had forged in unity, a testament to resilience overcoming despair. In the aftermath of the assault, a heavy silence lingered like a shroud, and Ronan found himself kneeling beside Lyra's crumpled form. The air hung thick with confusion and uncertainty. The revelry of victory felt muted against the chaos left in their wake. "Please, stay with me." His voice trembled, and despair clung to his heart. This bond had come to matter so deeply. To have fought for it only to risk losing it shattered him in ways he had never imagined. Hope flickered within him as he accepted that together they could rise again. Lyra opened her eyes, their azure depths reflecting his own fear mirrored back. "Ronan," she croaked, trying to sit up, pain etched across her features. "Let me help you." He gently assisted her, feeling the weight of every shadow hovering above. "You're going to be okay." The medics rushed to their sides, focusing on Lyra, their concern palpable as they hurried to tend to her wounds. As they worked frantically in the dim light, Ronan struggled to keep his hopes alive while allowing anxiety to filter in and taint the edges of reality. Hours passed like a languid breeze, fear entwined with uncertainty settling deep into his bones. "Please," he whispered, "you have to be okay." Lyra winced, her gaze passionate yet weary. "Ronan, stay with me. You're what keeps me grounded." Her words settled on him, an anchor in the whirlwind. It wasn't merely a plea for survival, but the acknowledgement of their shared journey, a connection forged in courage and vulnerability. "I will never leave you," he vowed, his voice trembling with emotion. "We will build a new dawn, Lyra, a world where we are united, not divided by fear." As dawn broke outside the makeshift shelter, light poured in, illuminating the rubble-strewn ground. Hope glimmered in the distance, warm rays stretching across the landscape. Ronan held Lyra close in that shelter, feeling the heart of the world throbbing in time with theirs. Days turned to a blur, and recovery began to unfold more rapidly than they had expected. The rebel camp rallied together, supporting one another as they tended to wounds, both physical and emotional. While the guilt of loss lingered, there was also a profound understanding of resilience that swept through their circles. But whispers of apprehension bubbled beneath the surface. The remaining members struggled against the bitter cold that haunted their nights. "Do you think they'll come for us again?" a fellow survivor asked, voicing a fear echoed in every heart. "Not if we stand united," Ronan replied, a renewed sense of determination igniting within him. "We will create something unbreakable, together as one." Lyra's presence became a guiding light, her strength inspiring others to rediscover hope. In the evenings, they gathered under the stars, reclaiming their life through shared experiences and profound connection. With every story exchanged, it was as though the pieces of their hearts were being glued back together, allowing the warmth of togetherness to seep into their bones. One fateful night, beneath a tapestry of stars, Ronan took center stage among their assembled audience, Lyra standing beside him. "Tonight, we come together not just as humans in Vorkari, but as beings who share the same hopes, dreams, and desires for peace." The camp, scattered under the wide expanse of the universe, listened intently as their connections grew deeper through the rituals they established together. Ronan could see doubt ferment like mold, but it could not be ignored amongst the spark kindling in their hearts. "What if we embraced the beauty of our differences?" Lyra's voice rang out, her tone melodic, and navigated the currents of hope. "We have the power to create a light against the shadow of judgment. History has taught us too well that we can either be divided or strengthened in unity," Ronan added, passionately looking around at the faces before him. "In standing against the darkness, we discover connections not forged by differences, but by the desire for love and understanding." Excitement rippled through the crowd, and he could see fervent energy begin to cascade like waves. The sheer possibility of shared intentions became a reality. The hope they were crafting intertwined through their stories, with Lyra at the heart of it. With each story, bread broke in half, laughter infused tension and transformed lives, while each tale reminded them of where they had come from. As the moments passed, Ronan felt each spirit building, igniting their determination to thrive, not just survive. The months wore on, each day bringing new challenges, yet each dawn illuminated hope anew as they faced it together. A kaleidoscope of experiences melded into something extraordinary, a place where love took root, encircled by the supports of friendship, unity, and shared dreams. As Ronan and Lyra stood arm in arm, welcoming the brilliance of the day, he found strength in her presence, an unshakable bond propelling them forward. "We are not merely shaped by our past," he whispered, turning to meet her gaze, the world alive with the colors of tomorrow. "No," Lyra agreed, her fingers brushing against his cheek, tenderness softening her expression. "We are shaped by our choices, by the connections we forge. Together, we will create a legacy, a brighter future." With resolve sculpted anew, they faced the horizon, hearts no longer restrained by fear, but elevated by the intertwined spirits of their triumph togetherness. Their love became a light, cracking the dark, igniting flames of hope against a world that would celebrate the beautiful mosaic of their existence. The universe an endless canvas, waiting to be painted anew with radiant colors of connection.